Boy, it sure is August, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Which means that it's still that time of the year in which all the big blockbuster movies are coming out, but not the ones that they thought were going to be big hits. It's more like the ones that's like, yeah, we kind of just have to get this out here before summer is gone.
Yeah.
This one takes place at a beach, so we kind of have to put it out there somewhere, but we know ain't nobody gonna really actually see this thing. Except for China. This is another movie. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way right now. We're talking about Meg, and this is
it The Meg or just Meg?
Yeah. The Meg. Meg is the documentary about the poor girl growing up under the abusive father, who I tried to make a Family Guy joke there, but I was like, I haven't watched Family Guy in forever. All I remember is that the dad was awful in that.
I kind of had like this joke in my mind that like Meg is just like a shark who's trying to make it out in the real world, and it's like, that would have been way more interesting. Just
a giant shark, like, on land, trying to get a job at the news, as a news reporter.
Yeah.
Twirls around, throws her fin in the air. Yeah. That's a Mary Tyler Moore reference for all you kids out there. Mary Tyler Moore was an actress, everyone, and she starred in a very successful TV series. Never mind. Okay. Look it up. You have phones that do that shit. All right. But yeah, this film, let's go ahead and get out of the way. This is a film that it's being made for China. It's very largely being made for China. What is her name? Bingbing Li, I believe it is. Yeah, Bingbing Li. She, for anybody who doesn't know, she is basically the face of American films that are made mostly just for China. She has been in, let's see what she's been in recently. She's been in Transformers. She's been in that last Resident Evil film. She is in a film called Guardians of the Tomb that really looks like it's ripping off Guardians of the Galaxy. She was in another Transformers film. She was been, God, I saw her in something very recently. Well, I'm gonna go by date here. Let's see, The Meg, Transformers, Resident Evil. Let's see, I saw her in something else not that long ago. Alright, whatever. But yeah, she is in this film pretty much just to be like, she's a big name in China, we're gonna get there. Mm-hmm. A large chunk of this film is set in China. She actually has a very large side story in here. And I've said this before, but I've come in here and I've pointed at other films made for China and been like, I bet that there are versions in the Chinese movie where they took out a scene with our hero and then had their character doing this. I am 100% certain they did that in this one. Because she has so much going on in this film that if you just took out the opening of this film, which shows Jason Statham saving some people from a submarine that has crashed, if you take that scene out and you put in a scene of like her as a kid and something traumatic happening to her in her youth or something, then all of a sudden she's the protagonist of this film and Jason Statham is the supporting character with a lot of screen time. Mm-hmm. It is that close with each other. So yeah, it's like, I know what this is. I mean, hell, the end of this film, it all centers around them going to a big beach in China. It's like, yeah, okay, I know what this is. And I used to criticize movies like this. I used to criticize these films like, oh, come on, man, it's very transparent what you're doing here. We all know that you're just making a really shitty action film just to try and sell it in China. But I've gotten to a point in which I'm like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Just let them do it and then just judge these films for what they are. And I have kind of gotten to that point which is like, I now just kind of judge these we're making this for China films against the other we're making this for China films. This one's actually better than a lot of them. Heck, I actually enjoyed Skyscraper, and that film was very much made for the Asian market. So I was like, okay, I get what you're doing in this. All right, fine. I understand you're making it for the Asian market, whatever. And again, compared to the other ones that are like this, that's all right. That's fine. And the other thing that I have to get out there right here at the beginning of this review is that this is getting some pretty negative word of mouth. I think it's got like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm actually going to be way more positive on this film than most other people. Asterisk, because I saw this right after I saw Slender Man. Like, Slender Man, for anybody who missed that review that just went up a few hours ago, that is easily the worst film I've seen this year. It is unapologetically terrible. It is stunning how bad that movie is. So much worse than I possibly could have imagined. So pretty much anything would have seemed alright after this. And I gotta be honest with you, overall, I actually like this movie. I actually did. It's not great. I'm not giving it high praise, but I did have a good time with this one.
So what's it about?
It is about Jason Statham. Actually, again, it doesn't even really start on him. It starts with a flashback of him saving these people from a submarine, but he knew something was out there. Something was out there, and it was attacking the submarine. I could go back and save them, but there's this big thing in the water coming for us. No, I gotta leave some of them to die and blow this submarine to kingdom come. And so he kind of got kicked out of whatever force he was in, because they were like, yeah, you basically panicked, you freaked out back there, you blew up a submarine, and you killed a bunch of people. I was like, no, there was something in the water there, I swear. He was like, yeah, you're kind of crazy. Cut to years later. Rainn Wilson, wait, is that his name? Wait, no, that's not his name. The guy, yeah, Rainn Wilson. Okay, I nailed it. For once I actually got a name. Yay! The guy from The Office. He is this like Elon Musk style billionaire, and he has invested in this water station and this like water research facility because these scientists believe that the point where we thought was the bottom of the ocean, it might actually be just a really dense layer of cold air. And if we can go below that, there might be an entire ecosystem down there. So indeed they do. They go down there, and the little mini sub that they send down there, it gets attacked by something, and now they're stranded underneath there. So they have to go to the one guy who has ever attempted a rescue mission that deep underwater, Jason Statham. Except that he is retired, he's moved to Thailand, and he basically is just sitting in like a bar non-stop, just constantly drinking. Like, it opens, when it finally cuts to him, he's got like a straw hat over his head, got his shoes up on a table, and he's got beer in his hand, and the waitress comes over, takes the beer out, immediately puts another beer in his hand. And one thing that I kind of realized as I was watching this is, I've never seen washed up, I don't care Jason Statham. I kind of like this version of Jason Statham. Like, Jason Statham has always been, I'm an indestructible killing machine in the form of a man. I like this version of Jason Statham because throughout this entire film, he has this look on his face like, isn't this some shit? Can you believe this shit I just found myself in? Like, there's a moment in here in which they have to go and put a tracking device on the giant shark, and like, we're gonna draw straws, and it just then cuts to him like suiting up in his diving suit. And he just has this look like, motherfucking, of course it's gonna be me. I was like, I kind of like seeing a Jason Statham who is just fed up with this shit. I kind of like seeing that. He's actually kind of charming when he just doesn't give a shit anymore. So I kind of enjoyed him in this. But they tell him, man, you want to know how much of a weird callback kind of film this is? He's like, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna tell me about a rescue mission you need me for? You're gonna try and appeal to my better nature? I'm gonna say no, because I don't have one. You're gonna tell me how much you're gonna pay me? I'm gonna say I don't care, because I don't. It's like, just keeps giving him all these things like, I know how this is gonna break down. I'm not gonna do it. And then goes, one of the people on that mini sub is your ex-wife. It's like, I have not seen that plot line in a while.
Let that bitch drown.
Wasn't that a bad twist? But yeah, I have not seen that you have to go save your ex-wife line in a minute. It has been a while. And they have this big, sleek, like, underwater research facility. And I was thinking in that moment, like, when it got to that, like, it's the washed-up everyman style hero, has to go and save his ex-wife, some, like, lover who he's got, like, messed up past with. And they've got some big science research facility. There's some giant animal out there kind of thing. It made me think back to Skyscraper and how I said this is really kind of a callback to these type of films when they were all over the place in the 70s. This again was a type of film that you saw all over the place back in the 70s, and I'm not saying I was like a huge fan of these types of films, but it was definitely something of an itch I had that no one was scratching. So this is another reason why I'm being really kind of lenient on this movie, is that
so you're
hey man, if China wants to come in here and just invest a ton of money into trying to resurrect film genres that America gave up on like 40 years ago, I can think of worse ways to spend your money. You know what? Listen, these aren't as good as those movies that they're paying homages to, but no one else is paying homage to them. And I kind of want someone to pay homage to them. So yeah, again, it's not like I'm coming in here and like saying this is actually a big surprise. This is actually great. But shit, man, for the weird little niche that I fit into, it kind of was all right with me. It was kind of like, oh shoot, okay, yeah, this isn't bad. I'm okay with this. Yeah, it was very weird for me to admit that. But also, I actually kind of like the characters in here. Because there are a lot of people that they introduce working here, and I've seen so many movies like this, in which it's like, here's this guy, here's this guy, here's this guy, here's this guy. It's like, I'm not gonna remember any of you. Everybody in this movie has a huge personality. Everyone in this movie is like, you're that guy, you're that guy, you're that girl, you're that lady, you're this person. And it's not like any of them are really deep. The only really deep one is Bing Bing Lee, because she's the one the movie was mainly supposed to be about.
Yep.
She's the only one who actually has depth. She's the only one who actually has like a really like emotional connection with anybody in this film. She has a daughter in this movie, and their interactions are really good, and you see her really care about her. You see her really like pushing herself to do really big impossible stuff. As I said, in China, this movie is going to be all about her. But all the other characters, even though none of them are deep, they're distinct. And again, it's like, for other films that are like this, I gotta give credit where credit is due. At least in this movie, I was like, it's that guy. That guy just said that thing. Of course that guy did. It's like, all right, I can instantly identify these characters. They're not good characters, but it's like, at least it's giving me something here. At least I have, again, I saw this after watching Slender Man. So again, my standards were low. It's like, oh my god, characters are characters in this movie, everybody. Yay! It's like, yeah, but again, not just Slender Man. There's a lot of movies that try and do this stuff that don't pull this crap off. Mm-hmm. These characters are actually pretty good. Good as in distinct. Not good as in complex or well written. I mean, there is one guy in here who is just the black guy.
Yeah.
Like, I kept looking at him and was like, nah, he's got... Like, he's a guy giving information. He's more than just black stereotype. And then he starts beatboxing at one point. I was like, I'm just gonna hide my face here for a second. Yeah. So again, it's not like any of them are great characters, but they're distinct characters. And I kind of needed that while I was watching this. And again, that's more than I get in most of these films. Like, there's one guy, really big guy. He looks like the dude who plays Roadhog in Overwatch. Like, if you've ever seen that voice actor, he looks just like him. I'm actually going to look that up because it might very well be him. But his name is The Wall, and he is just a really big, like, buff dude. Not buff dude, but just really huge guy. I was just like, you know what, it's kind of cool seeing that guy in there because I can instantly identify him. I know what he's all about. I know what his plan is in here. Cool, all right, done. I instantly know him. And then the girl who like designed it all, the super genius of it all, is played by Ruby Rose. And her name is Jax with 2 X's in there. And before going and seeing this movie, I stopped by the old comic shop I used to work at, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said, yeah, I heard Ruby Rose is in here. And someone told me she's really greasy in it. Let me know if she's really greasy in it. Yes. Like she had, yeah, just... The moment that she told me, yeah, look and see if she's really greasy. The moment that she popped on screen, I was like, oh yeah, oh totally. Because she has got her hair just perfectly like gelled, excuse me, to the point where it always looks wet, but not like clean wet. Like she constantly has that look on her. But she also constantly looks like she's sweating because there was a moment in which they're all staying in a boardroom and everybody looks normal, but she's glistening. Like, the light hits her, and it reflects off like it's a mirror. So, yeah, she was working out for that Batwoman role, like, off-screen, and then coming on recording. But she is, like, the badass techno person. Like, all right, that's a distinct character. I got it. Cool. And you know what? When you give me a bunch of distinct characters and you get them all in a room together and they start talking with each other, even if they're not good characters, it can be entertaining.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this was. Mm-hmm. And I'll give Jason Statham this. Again, I kind of like run down, beat down Jason Statham, who it's just like, I don't give a crap anymore. Like I said, in that scene where he has to go out and plant the tracker on the shark, he's like, I don't know. He's not going out there with any like heroic lines. He's swimming out there and he just goes, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I'm like, I don't know why, but I like that. I actually kind of like that Jason Statham is singing just keep swimming as he's going out there. But as I said, Bing Bing Lee has a little daughter in there. And the little daughter is actually probably one of the best actresses in this entire film. But the little daughter is constantly like tugging on him, and he comes down and listens to her, and she like whispers stuff to him. And they do that a lot in here. They actually have really good chemistry. Jason Statham gets along great with kids. I never thought I would say that, but yeah, anytime that he was interacting with the kid, I was like, this is the cutest darn thing. I would literally just watch this movie. You could lose everyone else in here, and just have it be Jason Statham has to get this little girl out of this underwater facility that's being attacked by a mega shark. I'd watch that movie, because they have the best chemistry in this entire movie.
That'd be a spin-off series where he has the babysitter.
I had that thought while I was watching this. It's like, okay, The Rock tried to do family-friendly things, Vin Diesel tried to do family-friendly things, Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 90s tried to do family-friendly things. Hulk Hogan. It is so bizarre to me that Jason Statham is the only one of those actors who never tried to do the family-friendly, I'm hanging out with kids style movie. And from what I saw in this movie, he's the only one who actually can do it. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing about this entire movie. So yeah, like I said, even though the characters aren't great, their interactions and just seeing all these dynamic characters together, it kind of made this film entertaining. And Jason Statham, whenever he was on screen with the little kid, I was like, this is gold right here. Bing Bing Lee, she's actually even pretty good in this as well. Like, I would actually be interested in watching this version that actually has her as the protagonist, which, again, I haven't seen that exists, but it is so obvious that there's a version of this that exists. But yeah, they go down underseas, he rescues them, but as they come out, it creates a little bit of an opening, just enough for a mega shark to pop out. And the rest of this film is just them like having to fight the mega shark. And I gotta give this movie some credit. It's not afraid to get pretty bloody. Like, this shark will eat people. I'm sure this is PG-13. I'm kind of shocked at what they got away with in a PG-13. Like, let's just go ahead and say, you can't really show human blood in a PG-13 movie, but apparently you can just show massive amounts of animal blood. Like, apparently that's just totally fine. But yeah, there's a moment in which the mega shark is just attacked. I know it's called a megalodon, by the way. I'm just calling it a mega shark for fun. There's a moment in which the mega shark is attacking what is one of the most densely populated beaches in the world. Yeah, man, it's not like, they don't hold back on that. It gets in there and it has lunch. And again, as somebody who hasn't really seen a giant monster film in a while that wasn't like Godzilla or King Kong, like just this is a very large animal type of film. They kind of went for it, and I gotta give them some credit on that. However, after it gets to the point in which the mega shark is there and everyone is now kind of like on board, everybody is part of the team, they're all working together now, nobody's getting introduced anymore, and they're all having to survive against the mega shark, it does just kind of become a generic action film. And that's the problem, is that I do actually kind of feel like the first act of this film, maybe not even first act, maybe even first half of it, I'll even go that far into it, I do really feel like that actually was something kind of special in here, because even though the characters are kind of dumb, they're fun. You did enjoy hanging out with them. Jason Statham was actually fun. This undersea world that they were exploring, it looks just like the rest of the undersea to me, but there's a lot of potential there to be explored. The mega shark, the first time that you're seeing it, it's pretty damn impressive. But then, yeah, once it's like, okay, now we're all in this, and now we have the mission, and now we're getting this done, it's like, okay, there's no more real fun to this anymore. I'm not saying that 100%, but I am saying a lot of the stuff that carried me through that first half was now just kind of like, whatever. It did just kind of become basic, we go and fight the giant monster type of movie. And yeah, man, there's nothing, whatever. That's fine. And that's kind of what my feeling was in the second half of this film. It was just, whatever. It's not like there's massive plot holes in this thing. There's small stuff in here. Like, there's a moment in which the tracking device on the shark falls off. And, like, my audience did actually kind of gasp at that. Like, oh, no, now they don't know where it is. And that never actually comes up. Like, there's never, like, a shot of them going, like, I don't understand. We just saw it, but it says it's all the way over here. How can that be working? That never really comes up. But as far as like tiny little like plot problems and things, like that's really it, because there isn't really enough going on in here to cause a problem. It's just, hey guys, shark monster. That was it. So yeah, that's why this review is going to be kind of short, especially for us, because I don't really have much to say after that opening. This is a film that, honestly, if you are just a fan of giant action films, if you are a fan of just shit being blown up, fighting a giant monster, there's been a lot of that this summer. There's been a lot of that already this year. But if you haven't gotten your fill on it yet, and you still want something else, and you've seen all the other stuff out there, yeah, it's fine. Go and see it. It's totally fine. For everybody else, though, if it comes on like Netflix, and it's like during Shark Week, and you're like, hey man, I'm in the mood for that, go for it. It is a film that is totally fine to watch. But I don't know if I'd recommend paying movie prices to really anyone. Like, if you got Movie Pass and you're just like, I don't know what else to see.
Although Movie Pass is kind of...
I was about to say, and Movie Pass is about to go under. I gotta make use of this thing while I can. By the way, quick plug here. I'm not getting paid for this or anything at all, but I canceled Movie Pass because when you have to use it to see new movies like I do for this, they basically came in and said you can't see new movies anymore. I was like, oh, that doesn't work for me at all. So I joined the AMC A-list. It's $10 a month more than Movie Pass. Oh my god, it is so worth it. It is great because, yes, I got to watch all the movies that I had to review this weekend back to back to back to back. I didn't have to go, I'll go and see one movie, go all the way back home. Next day, go all the way into town, go all the way back home. Like, bam, it's all done, out of the way right here. I get to go to the front of the line when I want my snacks. It works out great. Don't need to stand at the counter anymore. I do it all on my phone. Yeah, it's totally worth the $20 a month to me. I think that's great. So yeah, had to get that free plug in there real quick. But yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap this up because I'm about to sneeze and I'm holding it back so hard right now. Okay. I'd give this like a 6. Like, you know, it's better. Like, if 5 is total meh, whatever. Like, total, like...
Yeah, very in the middle.
If 5 is absolute neutral, it is 1 point above that. Like, it's just enjoyable enough that it's like, yeah, go ahead and see it. I don't know if I'd recommend paying, like, $17 or whatever a movie price costs where you live, but... Yeah, you know, Netflix, totally worth watching it. If you just, you know, if you have the AMC A-list and you just want to watch something, especially considering that you can watch this on the giant IMAX screen if you have AMC A-list. That's another big advantage of that. Yeah, go for it. But it's not worth paying for it. Like, get it as cheap as you possibly can, but it's worth taking a look at. However, again, just to remind everyone, I saw this after watching Slender Man. So my expectations were low. So compared to that, it's actually worth watching. That's the best thing I can say about this. It got me out of my Slender funk. That's the best thing I can say. Alright, so that was the score. Spoiler corner on this thing for anybody out there who didn't watch it and you want to know like what all really happens. There is one actual kind of nice twist in here because one of the problems I had with the shark is that the shark looks cool. There's several times where they have to go down and like interact with the shark, and it actually kind of looked awesome. But every now and again I'd be like, the shark looks like it's 2 different sizes. Like, could you not keep this stuff straight? There's a moment in which they actually are able to catch the shark, they're able to kill it, and they have it hoisted up there on the boat, and I'm like, holy shit, that thing is huge, and well, what are you gonna do with the rest of the movie? Like, it has to come back to life somehow, right?
There were 2 sharks?
An even bigger shark then jumps out of the water and eats that shark while it's on the boat. That's actually a kick-ass sequence. I actually was fully like, oh, okay, movie. I was starting to die off there. You were getting real boring on me there for a second. I'm kind of back into you right now. All right, nice. But at the end of this thing, they do go and the shark starts attacking this beach, and there's this person having a wedding on a boat. And you've seen this part in the trailer in which he has a little tiny Yorkie dog that jumps in the water. And you see the dog like swim out in there, and then the dog sees the fin, and the dog turns around and starts coming back. It's like, oh, okay, that's a funny joke in here. In the actual movie, like the dog keeps swimming, Shark's getting closer, shark's getting closer, shark's getting closer. Dog keeps swimming, duck keeps swimming, duck keeps swimming. And then, I'm like,
so the dog dies.
Fuck you, film. But then at the end of this film, after Jason Statham kills the shark by taking the busted up side of his mini sub and slicing its guts open, and then an army of other sharks come and eat it, which is actually kind of badass. I gotta give him credit on that one. Again, this movie is kind of boring in the second half, but every now and again they'll put something in there. It's like, all right, you get some points on that one. You get something on that one. That's not bad in there. But after that, they all load up on the one last working mini sub, and they're all like hanging on to this thing as it like propels towards the sea. And Jason Statham is like barely hanging on to this thing, and then he looks to the side and he's like, what? And then you see the little dog like still paddling across there, and like, oh movie, oh you movie, oh you silly film you. So okay, I'll give you some credit on that one. You got me, movie. You made me think you killed the dog, but you didn't kill the dog. Okay. So that one I wanted to get out there because I know there'd be a lot of people who get really pissed when dogs die in films. Mm-hmm. And if you went and watched this, you'd probably get to that moment and be like, oh fuck this thing, I'm not finishing it. You can finish the film, the dog survives. But that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. That is all the films that we're reviewing this week. We just did 3 of these back to back. This was a day of work. Mm-hmm. But thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, I think there's only like 2 things coming out, so that'll be a quick one to get through. But thank you very much. Come back next week. Bye.
Bye.